Okay. Call to order the Community Redevelopment Agency July 12th meeting. It's 5:30. Ms. Rakowski, would you like to call roll?
Mayor Lake,
Here.
Vice Mayor Hart,
Here.
Councilman Bobby Brown,
Here.
Councilman Tony Brown,
Here.
Councilwoman Kelly. Here. You have a quorum, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Are there any public comment cards?
I have none.
Thank you. So we'll move to item A of the agenda, Wi-Fi landing page. Would you like to lead us, Ms. Rakowski?
Yes, so we had a conversation at last month's meeting regarding the Wi-Fi landing page and that there was going to have to be some redirection. We wanted to see if it would be worth the cost to the agency to be able to have businesses put their picture, if you will, on the back of our splash page. There's going to be some reworking that's going to be involved in our website. There's to create an additional spot to take them to once they accept the terms and conditions and things of that nature. So in order for our IT to make sure that everything runs the way that we're envisioning it, he's given us a quote of $3,500. So with that being said, I bring it back to the agency to see if it's your will to move forward so that we can do the potential advertising on pages, or if you want to, I apologize, if you would like to, or what would you like to do with this project?
Any discussion?
Will we recoup that cost through subscriptions?
Subscriptions, so it wouldn't be subscriptions, but it would be $100 a month for a business to advertise on our splash page. So you would recoup it in 3
Period of
years.
time.
Real quick.
As long as, yeah. Yeah, as long as there's nothing that needs to be changed, or this isn't within his original contract. So any maintenance or any fees regarding this will be additional on top of our contract with our IT. If something changes with our website, that's going to be additional work. And then we need to make sure that we've got those who are willing to advertise every month as well.
What would change?
It's technology. I
Okay.
don't know the answer, but
That's every 6 months.
so.
10 years ago, we didn't have landing pages, so I couldn't tell you what's going to
I didn't even have a TV set when I was a kid, I understand.
So.
Okay.
Anybody else want to chime in?
I think it's good PR for the businesses, and before we commit to that, you might want to see if you can get some pre-subscriptions, or maybe you already have, of businesses that would actually do this.
We have not.
Because you might sit here with a beautiful page and nobody home.
That's something that I can talk with our IT about, but until he actually gets in there to see how this is functioning, I'm not entirely sure that we can put out there what we're capable of offering. There's a work in progress. This isn't something that's done technically with landing pages, so he has to, after you accept our terms, then redirect it to a different page than which they can go onto the internet, which they're trying to access to begin with.
I don't want to make it difficult, but it is a way to recoup costs for offering the Wi-Fi zone. Mr. Brown?
What is a landing page? I'm sorry. I
So
know
a
we
landing
discussed
page,
this.
when you go outside and you connect to our public Wi-Fi, there's a box that you have to check, that you accept the terms and conditions, and Mr. Commando can speak more to that, that, you know, there's a couple pages that are blocked, you can't look up profanity or anything like that, and then two, that we are not responsible for anything that you may accumulate or receive anything on the internet. And so this would, once you've accepted the terms and conditions that you're basically using this at risk, because it is the internet, then it would take you to a site on our page, which we would have to maintain for the business advertisement. And then then they would have to click to allow them to go onto the internet, which they were trying to access at the beginning.
Will you have to be real computer savvy to do all that, or is this going to be intuitive?
Just click OK.
Yeah,
Okay.
it would be, so, I mean, we've got the landing page as it is of clicking our terms and conditions. And so it would just be an extra stop in between there, understanding that it would take about 3 years to recover the cost before we can start recovering our cost of actually offering Wi-Fi down there.
So let me make sure I understand. Only one advertiser would be able to advertise at any one time?
That's correct. It would be their business for that month.
Oh. Okay. And is
It seems pretty limiting.
is it locked into just, is it gonna be all of Keystone, in the whole community surrounding X number of miles?
So when we originally talked about it, it was like a 10-mile radius from City Hall. So you would be able to go outside of the city limits of Keystone, but that's something that we could look at because we hadn't really dug deep into the policies yet until we could make sure that this was feasible for us to do.
What sounds feasible, what's the will of the council?
Well, assuming that we're gonna get a few customers, it will pay for itself very quickly. It'll just be a matter of getting
3 years.
Play Electric or somebody to pony up and start it out.
Well, it would be, I mean, it will, when you say quickly, it will take us 3 years to recover the cost. There's no questions on that. If it's gonna be $100 a month, it'll take 3 years for us to recover the cost of
Unless
this.
we charge more.
Pardon?
Unless we charge more.
Unless you charge more.
Or unless you split the page, so there's 2 people that could do it and charge them each 100.
So there's, right now, he's got it set up as it would be 1 advertiser per per month.
We'll base the fee on the size of the company, so if you have 500 employees, it would be more than if you have 10. Have a sort of a sliding scale.
Sliding scale makes sense?
Yeah, I think
Is this something that other cities in our
No.
area are doing? No?
So it's leading edge, right?
If that's the way you want to look at it.
I like leading edge.
Are we all right with, $3,500 is, and we got stuff to do for the streetscapes and stuff, is that gonna put a damper on not doing something if we spend $3,500?
Well, that's all in the perception of the agency. So if you look at the facade grant, that's the last facade grant, that's half of what was offered per building in the last facade grant. So it just depends on what your priorities are as an agency within your area. This is something that could be beneficial. It is going to take some time. I don't know how well it'll be received.
We anticipate taking the Wi-Fi zone up Lawrence in what time frame?
That I'm not sure yet. So we just got DOT out of here to finish the work. That's the conversation that, they're doing their walkthrough next week, so they're not even done yet.
Okay.
We're ahead of the game right now, CRA revenue, are we not, for the year, fiscal year?
We haven't completed projects that were anticipated. The streetscapes being one of them because we were waiting for FDOT to be done.
Well, why don't we table this for another month or so? And the reason I asked for tabling is because we could maybe better time it with taking the Wi-Fi zone and being able to show value to Mr. Hatch, who owns a business downtown, how purchasing an ad on our landing page might benefit his business.
Sales pitch.
No? But an example.
Well, we're coming up on budget time, maybe just have a line for this, stick it in
Okay.
for October.
Something to consider at
Yeah.
the budget workshop for next fiscal year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Stick it in as a placeholder.
I'll put it in there and that way it can be discussed later.
And that takes us to the downtown facade grant.
The facade grant, so the Heritage Commission went through their design guidelines and they have tabled that for another month. And then, so starting within the next couple of months, then we'll start looking at our application process as well with the, lining up with next year's budget and how much you want to offer, who we're looking at targeting.
Okay, and so tell us again, the first round, what was the match? What was the percentage?
It was just south of $7,000, so I believe that it was a match up to like $6,800.
And how many businesses took advantage of it?
How many businesses took advantage of it?
Mm-hmm.
That I don't know off the top of my head. I'll have to look at that.
As far as the design guidelines, I redid them. Basically housekeeping stuff, no major changes. One of the members of the Heritage Commission had a question about it and how it would operate, but I think I sent the draft to you, and I think you can use that here again as a placeholder if you want to stick it in, because I don't think that's going to be a problem.
So,
And there is interest among business owners about using the grant, so I'd really like to make that available as soon as possible. It'll coincide with the streetscape.
we'll be able to do that come October 1, that was part of the direction, is making it available in the next fiscal year, put it in that budget.
Okay.
And so we'll be able to work through it. There's some pretty exciting things with the agency coming up as well that we'll hear on the 26th for the agency to consider. So there's a lot of exciting things coming up.
Okay. All right, anything else for the good of the order? I think that was all, let me make sure. Okay. Nope, seeing none, motion is adjourned.